All right, all right, all right. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us on another episode of The Full Set. I want to stop telling people that we go live at 7:30. Y'all niggas have to allow for the fact that we in a motherfucking pandemic. The baby didn't want to go to sleep without checking off the task list of, can I go to the park tomorrow? Can I take a bath tomorrow? I'm like, yes, to all the things. And it's time now. It's time for you to go to bed. And M has been gracious enough. I am Didi Delgado. This is episode number 33, the Jesus episode with the atheist, Emelyne Museaux. Emelyne, thank you so much for coming to be my guest on The Full Set today.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to have just been asked. Honestly, I'm not special.
You are, and we're gonna get into why you're special. But for folks who aren't aware of who you are, which would be unfortunate any day and age, I want to go ahead and read your bio so folks can know what I know about you. Emelyne Museaux is an audiobook producer at ACX and a copy editor. M enjoys binge watching obscure series, reading the work of her contemporaries, and using music to suppress her existential crises. Subscribe to Emilyne's Patreon and podcast. The links will be in the pinned comment in a second. And all the social medias and links can be found here via M's link tree. So M, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I am really good today. How are you?
I'm overwhelmed and exhausted and tired and sad and also trying to be happy and using the show. You're a podcast creator, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
this show has actually been somewhat of a salvation for me. It's been a political outlet and also artistic outlet because I get to curate all of the people I enjoy hearing from. I feel like I've taken my timeline and been like, and here we are.
I like that. Yeah, it doing the podcast, and I'm one half of a podcast called The Good, the Bad, the Basic with my friend Alex. We review movies for our patrons and TV shows. We have an episode that goes out every week. We record an episode every week. There was a point where we were recording 2 or 3 episodes at a time.
Mhm.
And it's honestly like as long as they take to record and prepare for it has been therapeutic to like
Oh, wait.
be able to focus on something that isn't like life or death or the end of the world or the world is ending.
Can you do me a favor? Can you pause your video for a second and then unpause it? Because we lost you right after I used to do 2 to 3 episodes per week.
How do we pause?
Okay, so at the bottom of your screen, it says mute and then stop video. You can click stop video real quick and it'll look like this. Yeah.
Oh,
And then you
gotcha.
would just unclick it. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
is that good?
Yes. Come on, moving. Body moving. Yes.
Perfect.
Look, I mean, like,
um, Perfect.
so you
At
were
one
saying that you used
point,
to
we
do
were
2 to 3 episodes,
recording
but then you
two or
like,
three episodes. Yeah, we used to do two, sometimes 3 episodes a week. Then we parsed it back down to one. But even when we were on that hectic schedule, it was so great just to be able to focus on something that wasn't about anything political, anything violent, or anything involving the end of the world or harm against Black people. So it's kind of therapeutic to put focus on something that's frivolous, not frivolous, but you know what I mean.
I think your show is super stay on serious. Like, I mean, I really don't know why you would say that it was frivolous, but maybe we should scale back. So how have you been doing during the Rona? Like, um, something that you and I have discussed briefly is like mental health. Like how can I check in with you about that?
Sure. Well, I am someone who deals with dysthymia, and if you guys don't know what that is, that's um, persistent depressive disorder, chronic depression. It goes by several names, but it pretty much means you're depressed all the time. You don't have depressed states or moments. You're just depressed as a part of your life. And I've dealt with dysthymia since I was a child, probably since I was like 11 or 12. and I have anxiety. And the only upside about um, having dysthymia is that when the chips are down, shit is hitting the fan, we're still in a very sleeping mood wise. So corona hit, and it's real, and it's in a lot of people's lives, that it's wreaking havoc. And no matter how paralyzed I can still get it, going to the grocery store, But at the same time, I'm not panicked the way that a normal person would be panicked.
All right, let's try that again. So
Can you hear me?
dysthymia, is that how you pronounce it?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can definitely hear you. Thank you.
Yes, dysthymia. Perfect. Sorry, there's been thunderstorms here all week, so it's been
Yeah,
messing with my Wi-Fi. Sorry about that.
I'll fight a
But
thunderstorm
yeah,
over
so
your Wi-Fi.
dysthymia is basically chronic depression or persistent depressive disorder, meaning that people with dysthymia don't have depressive episodes unless they have double depression, unless they have both dysthymia and major depression. We're just depressed all the time. Dysthymia is kind of like a gray area type of depression. And the upside of dysthymia, like the only upside, is that our emotions are generally very level. So even when a pandemic rolls around and shit is hitting the fan, we're just like, okay. Like I'm doing everything I can to stay safe, and I
I feel
might
like
catch
the
the
world was
Rona.
already ending anyways. It's fine.
A little bit. Like if you really want to understand what this feels like, you should watch the Lars von Trier movie Melancholia.
Okay.
Great movie. The protagonist in that movie has dysthymia. I mean, I know I can catch the Rona going to the supermarket. I know it's taken a lot of people's lives, and I'm certainly not immune, but like it's just not in me right now to panic. If anything, Corona has made me more disciplined. Not if you ask my podcast partner Alex, she would say that I'm hyper organized. Like I've always said I'm an organized person, but she's like, Emma's hyper organized. And I've become more so since Corona. I wake up on a schedule, exercise, shower, meditate, put on some perfume and lipstick, and stay my ass in the house and work. I've worked from home for 6 years
For how
now.
many? 60 or 16 or six?
So it's not like I don't really feel that need to go outside unless it's out of regular hours or it's the weekend. Unless I want to see a movie.
Let's try that again.
6 years now. I've from home. So it's really not outside of my comfort zone to be in the house all day. What bothers me is, are we good?
Yes, we're good now. You said what bothered you is. Thank you. We just gonna have to work with it. We in a pandemic.
Because of that,
Y'all got thunder and lightning where you
what
at?
bothers me to just be in the house. What bothers me is when I allow myself, what kicks in my house, being heavy since Sunday, anxiety kicks in, is how this has affected the world outside of me. People are dying. People have lost their jobs.
Right.
People are behind on their bills. That little $1,200 doesn't do shit. It's not going anywhere.
It feels like
People.
$12 during this time.
I spent that money in under 10 minutes, girl. Like they don't know what they want us to do with that money. But I have bills to pay and I have food to buy. So
Right.
here we
Food is
are.
so fucking
So
expensive.
yeah, we can't get money. We can't. Yes, it is. Yes, it
The fuck?
is. And like it's and I put a raft, whatever's left, because I don't want to go to the store in the evening when everybody's there after work,
Right.
and I'm trying to minimize my risk here. So I'll go in the early morning, but it's before they get their shipments. So it's when like whatever was just left over that's what you got, girl.
Right, right, right.
So that's what I've been living on. But no, that's what bothers me is when you think about how we can't really ever go back to normal. This is the new normal now, and that's what bothers me. I'm not situation short term, only what it means long term. Now, what about you? How have you been handling Corona?
So have I been handling it?
Yeah.
I went to one of those Heal the Healer retreats before I came on this call. And, I was in good community with good folks. And so I appreciate the invite, but it was just like a lot. It was like, oh, this isn't a time for me to be an open portal and I can explain my feelings. Okay. And then I was like, I feel like I'm unraveling. I feel like whatever was wrong with me before COVID-19 happened to all of us, it's only exacerbated the issue. And then like things I would normally be able to deal with, I get called out all the time because I'm actually one of the very few people I know who actually will take accountability for something. So I get called out and then I answer to it and I'm like, thank you. Yes, I'm gonna sit my ass down. Yes, I'm sorry that I said that this person was a white trans man instead of just saying a white man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. I fucked up. Yes, I'm sorry. And I'm doing better every day. Thank you. And subscribe to my Patreon and my channel. You know what I'm saying? What happened? Yeah, it's your
You were
video. Hold on one
moving
second.
a little bit, but it was like I know that you're one of those people online who like take criticism seriously. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Preventative measure.
And so, yeah, when you say I take criticism, like, I don't want to be that person sometimes. I want to be like everybody else. I want to be like Sean King. I can't believe I just said that, but I want to be like Sean King. This nigga has like 20 op-eds written about him, and he's just out here living his best life. He don't have to answer to nobody. And here I am being like, community first. Yes, I realized in how I showed up, and that also gets tiring,
I
when I know
can't
that.
believe you want to be like WEB the scam. I can't believe that. I can't believe that.
I will retract and say it's admirable. The amount of shit this nigga gets away with is just admirable.
I
So
mean, when the going gets tough, let your spouse tweet from your page.
I mean, sis, when I seen that
Do
goes
you
back to the point.
remember, like,
Yes.
I'm talking about this with nostalgia. I think about that with nostalgia. I'm like, remember when, like, the hottest thing on the Twitter timeline was when Sean King had his wife tweeting for him? I miss those days when that was our biggest problem. Oh. Dee Dee, did you mute yourself?
Yeah, I muted myself because I didn't want to laugh and cry. So there was that. Okay. There was that. Can I just tell you that I think that the gap between your teeth is like extremely beautiful, but I didn't want to say nothing to you because I know that people are very sensitive about their teeth, but I also have one and I
I
love
love your
mine.
gap.
I love
I
your
love your
gap.
gap. I'm obsessed with women who have gaps. Like, okay.
I
I'm
I stopped
putting
my video so that way your video can
now.
continue in good
Because
faith.
you never really know someone until you look on their private Pinterest board. But I actually have a Pinterest board where I straight up collect photos.
Were children cruel to you
All
growing up?
right,
No, I mean, we're gonna work through it. Don't apologize. We're gonna work through it.
my back. Hello, hello.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, yeah. People really mean about it. I don't think they were like jealous in the way that she meant it because back in Haiti, all over the Caribbean, actually, the gap teeth are considered a sign of beauty.
Yes.
But I don't. It's not considered that here in the U.S. It's not considered that at all. But I mean, as I grew older, I realized that was like the one thing the one physical feature at least that everyone kind of like picked on when it came time to pick on something. Because when I was very little, kids used to pick on me about my lips too, but then those became fashionable,
Right.
right? So that became like that. Okay, we can't talk about the lips anymore. The teeth are still there though. We can still make fun of the gap teeth, but I'm obsessed with gap teeth now and women with gap teeth. And I actually have a private Pinterest board where I just collect
Why am
pictures
I not
of
involved
women
in the
with gap
Pinterest page
teeth.
being curated here?
I know it sounds like some really real like off the wall bizarre shit. It's
That's
a private Pinterest board, but I'm gonna add you as a contributor to the Pinterest board, girl.
Thank you. I like the personal
Because
invitations.
I
I
know
like the
you
personal invitations.
understand. Were kids
Yes.
mean to you about your gap?
I would just, like whatever. My light skin journal is full of
I
tales,
mean,
but it was mostly like I'm gonna knock the rest of your teeth even, shit like that. And I was like, my mom used to always tell me my gap was beautiful. Like I was reading Lady Chatterley like at age 8. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? So I feel like I always had the affirmation, and my mom also had like photos of Black women in our family that also, so I just didn't see anything wrong with it. But I knew that when I went to school, I was going to have to fight somebody if they said something about my mama or my mouth. So that was very interesting. When we're talking about mental health, I think about like as someone who has dysthymia, right? I pronounced it right?
dysthymia.
Dysthymia, thank you.
Mm.
As someone who has dysthymia, what advice do you have for Black folks, especially femmes, navigating the healthcare system while seeking a diagnosis?
Whew,
Ooh,
okay. Yeah, I take a deep breath on that one.
I
So
think
I've
we
known that
color
I have
coded, so
some
it's
type
fine.
of. Oh, right.
We did.
um, we did. I've known that I have some type of depression. I didn't know that I had anxiety. I thought that feeling was normal. But I knew I had some type of depression from the time I was a child, as early as I want to say 11, 12. But I didn't get an official diagnosis until I was 26, 27, and able to afford a therapist. That's when I was diagnosed with dysthymia, anxiety,
There's a little bit of a lull, and I know that this is an important topic to you, so I just want to provide space for that.
speak again for
Yes,
me.
welcome back, boo. Welcome back, boo. It's all you. It's all you.
Yes. So that's when I got diagnosed with these things. Until then, it was kind of like an uphill struggle. I knew that I had ADD back in school. And so what I would do, like I wasn't hyperactive in a visible sense that my teachers picked up on it, but I was always distracted. I was one of those kids that did really well in school because I was a little bit of a sponge. If I hear someone say something, I can usually remember it. If I see someone demonstrate something, I can usually remember it. So I got really great grades in school without trying, but I also always all over the place. I always did projects at the last minute. Like they could assign us a project last month. I would do it the night before it was due and get my mom and my sister to help me if need be. There was something wrong. I knew there was something wrong, but it was never diagnosed. It was never picked up on. Same with my depression. I
Right. Okay.
think my family was just so in their own space because of their mental health issues in many that run in many Black families. It was just never picked up on. And so over the years before diagnosis, I actually learned several coping mechanisms. Some of them weren't the healthiest coping mechanisms, but I'll talk about the ones that were actually healthy. Let's talk about that.
You're like, I'll talk about the ones that was
Um,
healthy.
let's talk about the ones that were healthy. I would say if you live alone or you live in a space where you feel you are being granted privacy, definitely keep a journal. Write your thoughts down. meditation is something that's really hard for me to do. Like if I want to meditate, I will put on my shoes and go outside for a walk and let my thoughts circulate. I can't sit still on account of the ADD because I'll just, go from thinking about my life to thinking about the last TV show to thinking about that book that I have to read, etc. It does me no good. So I would say keep a journal because reading what you wrote even as early as the next week or the next month can be really great at building your self-awareness and avoiding certain patterns, whether they be thought patterns or behavior patterns. If you
I
don't
feel
live
personally
alone
attacked by you
or
saying
you
to
don't,
keep a journal.
keep a journal. It was very hard for me to keep a journal as an adult because I kept one as a child, and my mom read that shit,
Yeah,
girl. It took me years and years and years to feel safe keeping one again, even when I lived alone. So that was my second tip. If you don't feel comfortable keeping a written journal, go ahead and record everything. Like literally record yourself speaking and save that shit to the cloud. It works the same. It works the same. You can do what Issa does on Insecure and just talk to yourself in a mirror. That helps too.
that shadow work, right?
Um, Nothing that has done wonders.
For folks who are just joining us, I'm here with Emelyne Museaux, and she is having a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue, but it's okay because we're in a pandemic and the thunderstorm is not going to keep us from having this
Thank you for
conversation.
listening. Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. So sorry about that.
No, please don't apologize. It's actually a valid fucking thing.
Let me close some tabs. That might help. Okay. Um, so yeah, if you keep a journal or record an audio journal, that's fine too. What's really helped me is exercise helps me find a form of exercise you like. I really like walking. It's really therapeutic for me. Yoga, do
Hmm.
something
Right.
because endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands.
I mean,
Um,
I'm not adverse. Sorry,
I
Anthony,
wonder
if
how
you're
many people will get
watching.
that reference. Um, I think that another
Is that from How to Get Away with Murder?
um, another that's from Legally Blonde.
Oh, okay. Why did you say it just like Elle too? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The other thing I would recommend is get on a sleep schedule. And I
Mm,
know a lot of people are going to feel personally attacked by this one, but try to go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day. Because I literally wasted years of my life in my 20s, like, in asleep, like, because part one of the symptoms of my depression, not insomnia, it's hypersomnia.
okay.
Like there was a time from the time I was a teenager, like around 15, 16, till around 23, 24, where I would literally sleep 16 hours a day if you let me. Like I was only getting out of that bed because I had to go to school or I had to go to work and I had to get that paycheck. Like I would sleep my life away. Try to get on a sleep schedule. And I would wake up just as exhausted as when I went to sleep.
Right. It
Try
wasn't
to
like
get
you
on a
were
sleep
reaching a deep
schedule. Try to
nirvana of
wake up
sleep.
as early. No, I would sleep like someone comatose. I didn't have any dreams that I could remember, and it didn't feel like my body had recuperated at all from the day before. Try to wake up as early as you are realistically able to get up. If you can get up at dawn, get up at dawn. If you can't get up before 9 a.m., then just get up at 9 a.m.
Right.
But
Okay.
try not to let noon hit you when you're still in that bed. It just sets a tone, like a bad tone for the day. Because when it's noon and you wake up at noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, even if you're not going to go to bed until 2 a.m., what happens is you wake up feeling unproductive. And that's
Mm,
going to feed your depression.
right.
Because
Right.
you're like, oh man, I wasted the whole day. Well,
You're
This
like,
is the
there's not much
thing.
time left before I
This
have to
is
go
the
back to bed
thing.
again.
So now, like half of your to-do list or a third of your exactly. Then at 8 o'clock, you're like, well, I guess the day is over. But then you spend the next 4 hours watching Netflix.
Right.
It sets a really destructive cycle. And I think I heard someone say this recently. Yeah, I remember who said it. She has a YouTube channel called Morena in Japan, and she was talking about mental health. And she was saying how sometimes when you have mental health issues, whatever they may be, you will do things that are consciously or subconsciously self destructive to make yourself feel worse
Mm,
because you don't think any of the things that would make you feel better are going to work, or they're just not going to work fast enough, as fast as you would like them to. But so by intentionally making the situation worse, consciously or subconsciously, it gives you a feeling of control.
we
And
have
you
a
need
comment
to get out of
from
that
LaShondia
mindset
that says
of,
that she never thought of it
well,
that
there's
way.
nothing I can do anyway. Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm
You're
glad
like, oh, thank you.
I could put some new perspective. Like it's not even my words. Like I said, it's this girl. Her YouTube channel is Morena in Japan. Check her out. But her recent videos have been about mental health. Get into that. Um, it's I think about mental health in a great variety of ways. Like that really popular post that people like to put on. They put it on Instagram captions. They put it on Twitter. They put it on Facebook. Um, we all accept the love we think we deserve,
Yeah, I
or
hate that
something like that.
actually. I hate it there.
But like, I started thinking to myself the other day. Now this is my actual brainchild. I started thinking to myself the other day. Do people accept the love they think they deserve, or do they accept what's being offered because they don't think they can do any better? Because what you deserve, what you think you deserve, come on. All right, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
You were doing great. What do you think you deserve?
Because what you think you deserve and the best you think you can get are not necessarily the same thing. You know,
Mm,
sometimes people see the same cycle in certain situations or with partners, and they're thinking, I want so much more than this. I want so much more than this, but it's not going to get any better. So let me just settle. So I don't think people are accepting the love they think they deserve. I don't think anyone thinks they deserve to be neglected or abused or cheated on or anything like that. But they're
right.
like, this is the best I can do for now. And I think that that's also part of the depression. If you're choosing this person because you think it's the best you can do, then that's a form of control too. Even though it's something
Mm,
that will ultimately make you miserable, the waiting for something better, you don't feel control in that.
right. That's like, that's a word. That's a word. I think about, I can't believe I'm about to segue just like this. I mean, because I feel like it was cold turkey, like we can warm up, but I really want to end it on a positive note. So I, I feel like we just ripped the band-aid off. When I think
We
about,
did.
when I think about people who don't know how to relinquish their control, I think about white women.
Mm.
Um, I don't know who Aquarius is, but they just read my email, and I hate that popped out. So Amy Cooper clearly is every white woman I've ever known, and I'm no longer upset about it. It's also not my job to not be upset about it. I've become so desensitized to these conversations in which Black folks are subjected to the behaviors and the systems that white people have enacted, And so I think about, where you might land on that topic. I feel it's been a very interesting ride for me because the conversation is now like a qualifier, like Botham John was, and I hate that I carry all of these names in my heart, but the conversation is now a qualifier. Oh, he went to Harvard. Oh, he practiced at Yale. And like, how dare she speak to this Black man with all this respectability behind his name like that? I'm like, I'm with Damon Young. If the nigga was named Quan and like, you know what I'm saying? Like it had like his pants down around his the bottom of his belt buckle butt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he'd still deserve the same thing, you know, and I think about all the Black women that go through this too. And so I just like to know what your thoughts are on the Amy Cooper case.
Yeah, I mean, right there with you when you said Amy Cooper's every white woman you've ever known. Um, to a greater or lesser extent, they've all been Amy Coopers. I remember vividly back when I was still religious and I worked at my old church as a receptionist and a translator because they had a big Haitian community, so they needed someone to translate documents from English to Haitian Creole. So I remember once there was an administrator who worked at the school because it was a Catholic school or Catholic church, so there was a school attached. And
Right.
she comes into the church office talking about, um, I need you guys to call the authorities because like I don't know what was going on with the phone in the school office, but
And there's a little bit of a lag. Do you mind starting the conversation from again from when she came into the office and was like, I need y'all to call the authorities? While we're waiting for M, I just want to let y'all know that I got this half a hoodie from Love Your Life, David Life. It says self-love. I wish I could do the whole pivot and the turn. It's like, So you were saying that the woman came into your church because you were formerly very religious in that sense, and she came into your church and was like, I need you to call the authorities. Like in Miss Millie's
yeah,
voice.
we need to call the authorities. I'm like, why? And she's like, what? And I'm scared. I'm like, why? What's going on? What's going on? She's like, there are three um boys in the parking lot, standing in the parking lot. I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Like, do they have guns or whatever? And she's like, no, there's just like three black boys standing in the parking lot. I'm like, okay. And I think me not getting upset and be like, well, what does them being black have to like? See, she was trying to bait me. I feel like in retrospect, she was trying to bait me into having like
She was trying to molly you. That's what she was
right,
trying
like
to do.
extreme reaction, right? And I'm like, okay, and I mean, is there any reason why you feel unsafe? Like, are they anywhere near the office? No. Are they near the school? No. But they're in the parking lot. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do about that. The parking lot is a public space. Like, what do you want me to do about that? So she's standing there getting more and more and more angry as I'm calm. It's a hilarious situation because I think that's what was happening with Amy Cooper. This man
Mm,
is speaking to her in calm tones and telling her, call whoever you want, tell them whatever you like. And the more calm he was, the more angry and incensed she got, right? And she calls the police, and then she pulls the one trick that she knows she's got in her bag. I'm going to tell them an African American man is threatening me. And you can hear the smirk in her voice when she said that to me.
you're saying that you can hear
You
the
can
smirk in
hear
her
it.
voice? Yeah, right. Okay.
She's like, I knew I have this trump card. I'm gonna play it. She really, you can hear it. You can hear it. She's got the one trump card, and
Right.
she's gonna play it.
She was like, this is the Trump card that Trump would have used. I'm not even
No,
funny. I
I
don't know why I
really
said that.
no. The situation at this point, I know for a lot of people, like it's still viscerally painful, and I guess for me, it's painful on a psychological level that I have to live in a society that views blackness as so threatening, or not even threatening, but because I don't feel like she was threatened by him at all. I feel like saying they feel threatened or scared is just the excuse that they use to be racist
Oh,
because they
absolutely.
know that they're having a bad day, they're in a bad mood, or they just want to fuck up someone's life. They have the power. Um, living through that is stressing me out. But I reached a point a couple years ago where these news articles, no matter how bad they were, on some level I became desensitized to them That's part of the reason why it angers me so much when people share videos of violence, not the Christopher Ankle situation, because it links against Black people or Black people's deaths. It bothers me all the more because I'm like,
Right.
two things are happening here. White people are being entertained by this because it's the modern day lynching party.
They're like, look at the nakers. Like, yes.
And Black people are becoming desensitized. We are being groomed to see our murder as normal.
It's
It's
so
not
fucked
okay.
up, It's so fucked up.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is though. Like we're being groomed to think that this is okay, that this is all right. Because no matter how bad a situation is, with a white person or hell, even other POC, it never gets to this point. I think the only time I ever heard this happening, for instance, to a South Asian man, an Indian man, the cops thought he was Black because he was dark skinned.
Looks like a
Like this
nigger. He
is a
passed the
very
paper
Black
bag
issue.
test.
So, and that's also what bothers me when non-Black. That's why it bothers me so much when non-Black people too, or non-Black people of color try to like claim this as a POC issue. Like it's not. It's a
It's
Black
not.
issue. It's a
Right.
Black issue. You
Right.
have to look visibly Black for this to happen in your life. And the idea that I have to live the rest of my life with this fear that I'm gonna be the next hashtag circulating for 24 hours until we forget because there's
Mm,
another murder, that stays with me. The idea that I could bring children into this world and that's going to be their reality, that frightens me more than COVID-19.
right. Bitch, do you even like kids?
I love kids. Kids
Oh,
love me.
I learned something new every day. I've known you since 2011, and I would have never known. I'm just saying, I would have never
Yeah.
known.
So I wanted to be a mom since I was still a kid. Like I had my baby's names picked out when I was 10 years old. Like literally, it's on a sheet of paper.
Right.
Like other little girls were planning their little weddings, their little boyfriends. I was like,
You're
fuck,
like, I
like,
don't
give me
need
the
no
baby.
man. I just need these children.
Yeah,
Give me the babies.
I had the girls' names, the boys' names, the unisex names, the identical twin names, the fraternal twin names. Like it's a spreadsheet.
Right.
But no, like the reason why I haven't had kids yet is because I am terrified of
Mm,
having kids with the wrong person because that's
that's valid.
a lifelong
Welcome to my
commitment,
world. Please join and subscribe to my
and
Patreon.
B, putting them in a situation, this atmosphere that's beyond my control. It's like the situation where anything could happen to your kids outside of your control. Like every time I see a little Black kid get attacked at school,
Mm-hmm.
handcuffed at school, abused at daycare, my
Right.
tension levels are high. I don't
Right.
I don't understand how any Black parent is doing this. All of y'all deserve a Purple Heart because it couldn't be me. I am too stressed out about it.
Thank you. I wanna pivot for a second, Tell me about your religious journey as a Haitian woman and how have people reacted? And not just as a Haitian woman, but as all of your other identifiers as a Haitian queer woman. How have people reacted to your spiritual journey?
Very quickly, I don't personally identify as queer.
Okay.
I feel like I don't want to take up space in that arena because there are lots of people that need to be on that platform, particularly the Black gay community and definitely Black trans women, right? So I don't like to step on that
Okay.
platform
All
as a
right. Come
religious
on,
identifier
politics.
because I don't feel am I live?
Yes, you're live now. You said you don't feel
Okay.
what?
I don't feel well. I know I have never been marginalized on account of my sexual identity or sexual preferences. Of all the things I've been marginalized for, that's never been one. So I don't take up space in that community. I try to minimize my space as much as possible. But no, being Black, being Haitian, being an immigrant, um, it's interesting. I have a really strong personality. I don't have to
I
tell
would
you
have
that.
never known.
I have a very strong personality. I have a very strong personality, and I was a deeply religious person, very faithful person for many years. You know, I grew up in the Catholic Church. I was raised by a very religious mother. We weren't just Easter Sunday, Christmas Day Catholics either. We were there every Sunday, throughout the week. Sometimes the vigil services on Saturdays. You know, in my early 20s, I was at church like 6 days a week because Catholics have mass and they have
Right,
service every day.
right. I was Christian Catholic.
I was a vacation Bible school teacher. Yeah.
We don't have to talk about me. This is about you. So please talk about
No,
your
no, no, no,
VBS.
no.
Let's talk about your
I
vacation Bible school, VBS, educational
yes,
studies.
yes. I was a VBS teacher. I sang in the church choir. I volunteered with their youth group. It was a lot. So I think my family knew that when I decided that, or when I realized that I no longer believed, that they couldn't say it was just a phase or something I was going through. I'm not a phase type of person. Like, I hold beliefs very, very strongly until I'm convinced otherwise. So they couldn't say it was a phase I was going through. They were pretty sure that I wouldn't be talked out of it. And it helped that by that time I was grown. I was already 26 years old. I was married. I was no longer living with any of my family members. My ex husband, or my husband at the time, he's atheist as well and has been for most of his life. So it wasn't an issue there. Like, he would go to church with me every Sunday because he was a real one. But he didn't believe that. And I
Right,
think
right.
when I realized I didn't believe either, he was like, okay, one less thing to do on Sunday, you know? Um, so I know my family has thoughts about it, but no one's ever tried to do an intervention or sit me down or talk about it because they know I'm not trying to hear that.
Oh, I think that your video cut out, and not your video, but your audio cut out again. So I don't know if you want to pause the video for a second and then resume.
Didi?
Yes, welcome back.
Okay, tell me what you were saying. Because
So
you were
no,
saying something. I
what
couldn't
I
hear
was
you.
saying was, I know that. Well, it's not that I know. It's just I've picked up things from you from along the years before you deactivated from certain social media websites that you are an atheist, and I think about just like Haitian people in general are very religious, whether it is with their Christianity or their Catholicism or with voodoo. And so like it was just very interesting to me. One of my best friends was like, you should ask her, like, what was that experience like for her as a Haitian woman
Mm-hmm.
to be like now at all these intersections, be like, no, bitch, there is no God. You know what I'm saying? Or this is my thought process, and this is how I've come to this realization. And that I just imagine all your family being like, oh, oh,
Yeah. So I didn't have a coming out, so to speak. I was just like, family, I don't believe anymore. God isn't real.
So you said that you didn't have a coming out because I lost you, so I want to bring it back. You said you didn't have a coming out, but you were like you were in places.
Yes. I was pretty vocal about it on my social media. And if a family,
Since we're recording this live, we will be editing this video later so that way we have the actual sound bites. Because I just want to make sure that M's story is heard. She's currently experiencing some
oh,
connectivity issues. So yes, we will be
yeah.
editing this video heavily.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. You sound amazing. You sound angelic. Almost. Go ahead.
So I have to clarify that I'm an agnostic atheist. A lot of people think that agnosticism is like a middle ground between belief and atheism, and it's really not. Agnostic just means I don't know. So you have agnostic theists, people that believe there's a God, but they don't know which one is the right God, or they don't know which God they believe in. And then you have agnostic atheists who don't believe in God, but they do. We don't know for sure that there isn't a higher power. All I know is that all the gods are written of in various cultures, religious texts. They don't resonate with me at all. All of the text seems like badly plagiarized material. All the religious traditions seem to be rooted in humanity's need to have control and create answers when they
Right.
don't have the answer.
Right.
Um, but there's a quote I read many years ago that still resonates with me, and it says, "I would rather have questions without an answer than answers that cannot be questioned."
Mm,
I know that we don't know everything. We have barely scratched like 1% of everything there is to know about the world that we're in, like the planet Earth, let alone the seas, the solar system, the universe. And I'm okay with not knowing because that's part of the journey as a human species. Every generation builds on the last one. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have the answers to everything.
right.
You don't have to necessarily. I mean, I know it comforts some people to do that, but I personally don't need to have the mindset that there is a higher power controlling everything in order to feel safe. Um, and I don't think it's important to feel safe all the time.
Right.
I
Right.
think sometimes when you don't feel safe, that uncomfortableness can allow you to grow. Or when you feel like you don't know what's going on, that can allow you to grow because then you'll go out and seek and do it. Do it if it brings you comfort and if it brings you peace. But that's not the path for me. Um, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I had a really great religious community when I was still at church, and for the most part, they're really great people. But I couldn't pretend like I believed something that I didn't believe anymore. So here we are.
Well, thank you for sharing that perspective with me. I want to pivot to your podcast because I know that your show, The Good, the Bad, and the Basic, is really you and your co-host. Is their name Lauren?
No, my co-host name is Alex. Alex
Alex. Why did
Wright.
I say Lauren? Where did that even fucking come
I
from?
don't know who Lauren. I don't even know Lauren, girl. I don't know
I'm
Lauren.
thinking about Lawrence. I'm thinking about how Lawrence was so fuckboy this last. Anyways, we're not talking about it. I can't. So so on your show, The Good, the Bad, and the Basic, you analyze different TV shows that are now actually off the air to discuss what you love and what you hate. So one, I want to know, how did you, like, why would you, like, everyone has a different theme for their podcast, but like, what made you start it? And also, I want to get into the conversation about Insecure. Have you watched Insecure, and where are you landing with it?
Okay, that you asked two questions there. So the first one is the podcast. I actually met Alex on Twitter, and she and I had been mutuals for a little while. And she was like, you know what, we should do a podcast. And I'm like, okay, sure. And she was like, okay, give me your number. So I gave her my number, but like most things that people suggest, I didn't think she'd ever follow up on it. Like I don't think she even knows the story. I didn't think she'd follow up on it, but she did. She called me and we came up with this idea together to discuss TV shows, specifically ones that have already ended, because we wanted to have the whole um, the story from start to finish before
Right.
leaving a critique, right? And we have a lot of the similar tastes in television shows, and she's very opinionated and I'm very opinionated. It just clicked. And we started the show last summer, And it's kind of taken off. And we have a lot of fun recording the episodes and talking about these TV shows. And we have side conversations before we even get to the recordings where she'll call or text me, or I'll call or text her and discuss whatever we're watching right now in preparation for the next season. It's been really fun for us. And it's the only podcast, honestly, that I know of. I guess that's why we felt compelled to do it, where Black women are being like the cultural critics, so to speak. Because
Right. That's
if
dope
that
as fuck.
exists, if that exists yet, I honestly have not heard it. If you are listening to this and you have such a podcast, feel free to plug yourself.
You're like, please, I beg, I beg, I beg. And
Yeah.
so like we're gonna post the link to your podcast if people are not familiar. For those who are just joining, Emily's podcast is called The Good, the Bad, and the Basic. And so I know that you focus primarily on shows that have already ended, and you know you like binge watch them, and it's a competitive binge watching, and it's like fighting to the death to finish it. But where I feel like Insecure is leaving me wanton, and I hate shows like that. And that's just my own personal opinion, but I'd like to know where it's landed at for you.
Okay, so we're talking about Insecure thus far, season one to the last episode where Molly and her bae were in Mexico. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give some controversial opinions. Let me get some water real quick.
I came here for this. While you get your water and take a sip, I'm going to like laugh and ugly cry face. Go ahead.
Okay, so there's four people I want to discuss.
Yes.
Issa, Molly.
Wait. Before you get into it, pause your video. Restart it for 2 seconds because we really have to get into this. I want to know what you feel about Issa. I want to know what you feel about Molly. What the fuck is going on with Nathan? Does it even matter? And can Kelly come and just be the replacement for all of these characters? Thank you.
Yes, I'd like Kelly to replace everybody because they're insufferable. I kind of like new postpartum Tiffany though. I'm not gonna lie.
Is she calmer?
No, she's not calmer, but she's realer because she was trying to do that.
Mm,
I'm so perfect. My life is so perfect. Look at my perfection. And now,
your audio cut out again, babe. You said that Tiffany was acting as if she was so perfect, and now postpartum Tiffany is just like, I hate this child and I want everyone else to die.
some bullshit, right? Like it was over some bullshit, right?
Right.
Hold on. She plays Lawrence like she's not even that interested in him, right? He comes over for Thanksgiving dinner and she plays him to the left. Then she throws it in his face that he invited himself, which is low key true.
Condola. Condoleezza Wright. Condola. That's who you're talking
Yes,
about.
yes, Condola. That's what I was saying. And then after pretending like she doesn't give a fuck because he invited himself and it's not that serious, she picks a fight with him and breaks up with him over some hypothetical. Would you have broken
Maybe
up?
you wanted to be with Issa again.
Would you? No, he's like, would you have broken up with Issa if she hadn't cheated? Like, what kind of an unfair question is that? They were together for 5 years. They lived together.
I feel
Like,
like
are
the
you
answer to
serious?
that was like no.
Like, the show should be about her because I haven't seen anyone this insecure yet. Yeah, Condola was garbage for that. And like, okay, you had your little fight with Nathan, but what the hell does that have to do with Issa, ma'am? You really left her hanging. Not only was this like mad shady, it was deeply unprofessional as well.
You said unprofessional or unprofessional?
Unprofessional. Unprofessional.
I'd like for you to expand, please. I come here for this drag every day now. I will
Because
be watching this again.
it was her literal job to help Issa. Like her connections are on the line. And she dropped out at the 11th hour, avoided all this woman's calls, texts, and emails, then shows up the day of like nothing's wrong. Ma'am, who does that?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. I struggle with their friendship a lot because it didn't used to always be like that, you know?
You're talking about Issa and Condola?
Issa and Molly. I don't
No,
understand
no, no.
Issa.
I'm talking about Issa and Condola.
Well, I don't understand Issa and Condola at all because I'm not sure how insecure. I'm not sure how long they could have both pretended, no, 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 it's okay, while they're having the conversations with their friends about how it wasn't okay, or these are the things that are coming up, but they weren't talking to each other about it. So I struggle with that a little bit, but it's not my TV show.
Yeah, so Issa and Molly now. So I've already talked about Issa and Condola. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm
Okay.
trying to stop the streaming from my video so that way we can focus on you.
Okay. So I've already talked about Issa and Condola and how Condola was dead wrong, and Condola and Lawrence and how Condola was dead wrong. So let's talk about Issa and Molly.
I'm here
So
for
I
this
might be
read.
one of those. I might be one of those few people that might be like, I think the friendship is toxic, and it's either run its course or it needs deep healing. But if I had to pick a side, I think I'm one of those people that's actually Team Molly.
I think the conversation is over at this point, and I appreciate your appearance on the full set. I think that you just it's not it's not what I wanted to hear. T Cherie was like, yes, bitch, yes. I hate both of y'all, and T is going to be on the show on Friday, but please divulge to me why you're Team Molly.
Okay. So I think now first I'm gonna do a little character breakdown before I actually bring in like specific events that lead me to be Team Molly. I think that Molly is a very type A personality. She's very blunt. She has a great work ethic. She has a very alpha female personality. And I think that can be very abrasive, off putting, or even intimidating to some people. Whereas Issa has more type of carefree, bohemian, um, grab life by the horn type of personality that more people are prone to gravitate to.
It's
I think
me.
that
I'm Issa.
I think that a lot of people already are put off by just who Molly is as a person before Issa comes into the picture. Then enter Issa. Now, a lot of people are like, Molly wanted to see Issa fail. A, I don't believe that, and B, even if it were true, Issa had made it clear that she doesn't think that she thinks that Molly is a failure when it comes to relationships, right? Um, she's consistently put Molly down when it comes to Molly's relationships. Even this one with Andrew, which is her healthiest one, to the
Mm.
point where, and the thing is, Molly, when she comes to Issa for advice, she actually takes that advice because when she asked Issa, or when she told Issa, I'm inviting Andrew to Thanksgiving dinner, she didn't even ask Issa. She told her. Issa then puts in her 2 cents, oh, it's too soon. So then Molly, listen to this, doesn't invite.
You cut out, babe. Do you want to pause your video for a second and then try your audio again? Come back to me. I'm begging you. I'm going to stop singing if you can talk. This is ghetto. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Thank you for everyone joining us. Go ahead,
Can you,
Emily.
can
Yes,
you
I can hear you
hear
now.
me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
What's the last thing you heard me say? What's the last
So
thing
the
you heard me
last thing
say?
I heard you say was, this is her healthiest relationship yet. And I said,
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah, this is her healthiest relationship yet. And then she tells her best friend that she's inviting her man to Thanksgiving dinner. Tells her, not ask her opinion. But then Issa decides to give her opinion anyway and tells her, it's too soon, don't invite him, you'll only scare him off. Molly, believing that Issa has her best interests at heart, takes this advice. And she doesn't invite her man. She's miserable as fuck on Thanksgiving. She wishes her man was there, and then Issa ends up standing her up at the end of the
oh
night
my God,
anyway.
I'm anti-Black as fuck because I totally forgot just now that Issa said that.
Mhm.
She
And
said, don't,
then later
okay.
on, yeah, then later on, when she and Andrew are kind of on the rocks as he doesn't want to talk about his family, Issa's making jokes like, "Oh, the relationship's about to end." And so when he does hit Molly up again, and Issa asks who was on the phone, Molly doesn't even tell her. She doesn't even feel safe confiding her relationship to Issa anymore because Issa is not supporting her relationship. She has literal tears in her eyes in the scene. Like Issa is just like whatever. But then when it serves Issa, Issa's like, "Oh, girl, shit hit the fan for me. Can you get your man to help me?" So which is it, Issa? Like, is the relationship not serious, or is it serious when you need a favor? It's not
You don't
serious enough for Thanksgiving dinner, but it's
you don't
serious
have to
enough
be like this. You don't have to
to
be
be
like
like,
this. This
get
breakdown is
your
not what I
man
wanted to
to
hear.
get his connects to help me. And meanwhile, Molly was willing to help her this entire time. Molly, as soon as she told Molly that Condola was being trash, the first thing Molly did was lawyer up and was like, "Girl, have you looked over these contracts?" And she was ready to go over these contracts with Issa to get something done. But Issa wants the quick fix, and she wants it at Molly's expense, and she wants Molly to jeopardize this relationship that she told after she told Molly don't invite him to Thanksgiving because you don't want to scare him off. But it's cool to ask him for favors for your best friend. Okay. Um,
So I just want to say, I appreciate that breakdown, but I have to push back. And I have to push back because I am the weird, black, awkward girl. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? I'm the bitch who talks to myself in the mirror. I'm the bitch who's like, oh, we fighting this bitch. What else was there to do? I'm the bitch who literally takes the paint and sip painting and knocks all the bitches over the head with it. Bang. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so with that said, I feel like, you've given me a different lens. I will warrant this entire conversation to that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I didn't realize it's the little things that Issa say, but like you said, Issa's mad charismatic. She's not the type of person to be like so direct that it hurts, whereas Molly is. But I think that the blow-ups were unnecessary. I think
I
that it was a congruent miscommunication between the two of them, because when one wanted to say something, the other one didn't, and then when the other one was ready, then the other one, it was like it was a back and forth. I will say that it was both of them, but I'm actually glad you pointed out Issa's missteps, because me, a bitch who feel like Issa, be like, I've done no wrong here. The case is closed. you you know
I'm not even done counting Issa's missteps because, like, when Molly blew up
Wait,
at
you say
Issa,
you're not done?
I'm not even
Nigga,
done,
that's
girl.
all the time we have. Like, no, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
like when I honestly was like, Molly's fucked up for going off on Issa in public. Like, she really was fucked up for that. But I'm like, that's not even the first time one of them has humiliated the other in public. We can take that back to season 1 in Broken Pussy, where she literally made a song roasting Molly that went viral.
This is why I don't make songs about my friends anymore.
Like, and I get the attraction to Issa. She is carefree, she is charismatic, she's all these things. But like, Issa's kind of a shitty friend, and I'm not just talking about Molly. It took her weeks to go over to see Tiffany after Tiffany had the baby. Molly made time, and Molly works like 80 hours a week and still has the energy to fuck her man at 2 a.m. But
Emelyne,
Molly
I
made
just
time
want to
for
let you
Tiffany and her
know, just
baby.
for transparency, there are Black femmes in the comment section that now want to fight you. I mean, I just, for
I
your
mean, oh, that's
safety,
my location.
for your safety, when you leave the full
Turn on
set building,
notifications. Turn on notifications. Turn on location right now. Like, and I mean, the most we've ever seen of Kelly on the series was in season 2 when Issa needed her financial help to get her life together. She only remembers she got friends when she needs help or she is bored. Sorry. Sorry
so
about
you're saying
that.
that Issa is self-serving, and everyone
I don't
who,
think she's self-serving. I
what is
think
she?
that's a little bit. That's too extreme. I think Issa is just self-absorbed, and the way that she comes off, particularly to Molly, who has talked about herself as Issa's best friend for so many years, it feels like Issa just doesn't care simply because Issa's always in her own head and in her own world. And I think these mirror monologues that she has, where she's talking to herself in the mirror, is symbolic of that. She's always in her own head and about how her relationships with other people affect her.
I
which is
feel
kind
like
of
this is
also
therapy.
why
Is
Issa is
self-absorbed
so
incorrect?
awkward.
This is
Yeah,
therapy.
I mean,
Is self-absorbed a bad thing? Because one could say that Molly is self-absorbed. She has this high-paying job. She is not playing with her Manolo Blahniks and her Jimmy Choo shoe. Like she's like, no, I'm about my shit. And if you had a real job, Issa, you would know what it feels like to be about your shit. Like, you know what I'm
I don't
saying?
think Molly's self-absorbed because Molly works all those hours and she still makes time to help her coworkers with their side shit. She still makes time to fuck her man at 2 in the morning. I don't know where she finds the energy. She still makes time to go see Tiffany and her new baby and has been seeing them for weeks before Issa got there. So self-absorbed, no. I mean, yeah, she likes to floss and she likes to spend her money, but that don't mean she's materialistic.
I am brokenhearted by this entire conversation. I thought that we
Sorry,
were.
I hate to be the one. I hate to be the one. Sorry, honey. I'm sorry. I hate to be the one. But yeah, like Issa does these things, and I don't think anything that Issa does is malicious at all. I don't think anything that Issa does is malicious at all. But I also think that a lot of people, because of the way Molly is, like I said, that top type A alpha female personality, I think people read her as malicious and aggressive. Well, she is aggressive, but I think people read her as malicious when she's really not. Like after that first mixer with Condola, and Issa's like, I don't trust that bitch. I don't think you should work with her. Yeah, maybe that was the wrong time to say something. But the thing is, I don't think she was giving Issa any advice that she wouldn't take herself. Because I don't think Molly would feel comfortable working with her ex's new boo either. I think she really thought she was looking out for Issa in that situation because she thought it was shady. And Condola ended up proving her right.
But don't you think that that Issa's pushback was because she felt that Molly wasn't being a good friend, and here's this new shiny butterfly. I'm just saying, from my experiences, we're running into bitches that are new shiny butterflies, right? When I'm having an issue with a friend, and I'm like, okay, this is like a distraction. This is a nicety. This is a refreshing. This is we can have lunch and brunch. You know, I hate to be a hotep in this moment. But you know when hotep niggas be like it's the 80-20 rule. I mean, I'm telling you what I know. When a woman comes along and she's not dealt with the amount of stress that a man has put on the other woman, right? He
Right.
goes for that because it's the 20% that the nigga felt like he was missing his entire life. But the woman doesn't necessarily have the 80. I never agree with that rule, but I feel like in this friendship, this is what they do to each other. It's just Molly's outlet or Molly's second friendship is her job. I'm just saying that might be something to marinate on. I don't know. I'm telling you what I feel. But this is your show, so we're going to let you rock with it. So there's that.
No, no, this is absolutely your show. But I think when I realized that there's definitely a deep miscommunication between Molly and Lisa. I mean, it's been there throughout.
I don't know if you want to mute yourself. Sorry, take off your video and then restart it again. But I lost you. You said this is definitely your show, which we've already established. But if you could try it again, that would be great.
At the block party, and Lisa's like, "Oh, girl, are you okay? I missed you." And it's like you're mad at Molly because she refused to help you in your time of crises, but Condola caused the fucking crises. Why aren't you mad at her?
I would say that too, that in friendships, it seems to be there's a binary that exists. Yeah. That there can only be one person that is upset or one person that's wrong or, so I mean, I appreciate that. Was there one more dynamic that you wanted to delve into as far as insecure? Nathan ghosting Issa. And then now Andrew, Asian Bay Andrew is not, can I say qualifiers like that anymore? In this day and age, I don't know. But Andrew is now saying that Molly should calm down because Nathan was going through obviously some traumatic shit or whatever and mental health issues. I mean, is ghost? Are you okay with ghosting?
Um, I mean, I am, and then I'm not.
I feel like you did a hair flip, so I'm not sure where you're at.
Yeah, I did. Can you hear me? Can you see
Yes,
me?
yes, yes.
Can you see me? You can hear me?
Yes, I can see you too.
Okay. I'm okay with ghosting and I'm not okay with it. And what I mean by that is it was like you had a couple dates with someone and shit was cool. It never got physical, however. You don't really owe them an explanation, and they don't owe you an explanation. But I feel if you get to the point where it is physical and it's clear on both sides that it's more than a casual hookup, maybe you could, give that person the courtesy of being like, I gotta head out. I just think it's common courtesy. I don't think that you need to like give an explanation to everybody. I don't think that casual hookups deserve an explanation. I don't think like people even on a couple of dates with deserve an explanation. But I do think that we are, as a society, as a culture, normalizing more and more ghosting people and calling it self care. Oh yeah, I have to
Mm,
ghost him because I can't deal. Okay, so you're basically transferring anxiety or feelings of inadequacy to another person
right.
for your own mental health. Make it make
I'm not going to comment on that because I've just been ghosted, but okay. So there is that. Outside of Insecure, what has been your favorite series to watch during quarantine?
I can't think of any because I've just been watching so many for the podcast. I guess the last
What
um
was your last episode about?
our last episode that we recorded was discussing Angel. Remember the Buffy spinoff Angel?
Yeah, with the dude with the blonde hair and the furrowed eyebrows.
Well, yeah, Jason Marsters, aka
Wow,
Spike, is
you
on.
actually know his name. Okay, all right, go ahead, sis.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, David Boreanaz was the lead on that show. So that episode comes out next week. We record episodes, our regular episodes, a week in advance. But I guess the last show that I watched just for fun, it's one of my favorites, and we've discussed it for our patrons on Patreon, is a Netflix series called Everything Sucks. It's set in 1996, and it deals with these
That was the
kids,
best year. I don't care what anyone says.
truly the best. And these kids are in high school and they're just dealing with like high school things, parents, sexual identity, friendships, navigating relationships. It's really cool, and it's not dramatic and there's not high tension. You can just watch the show and chill. My only regret is that it only had one season. We covered it for our patrons for our Gone Too Soon series. But it's just the cutest little show, and it's so well acted and it's so well written. So that's my self care show. I either watch Everything Sucks or I watch Superstore.
All right, thank you so much. And my second to last question is, I know that you're a writer and that you do a lot of copy editing. What have your experiences been in the literary world for you? Like, will you be publishing any new projects? Maybe even like venturing off into self-publishing? Like, tell us the tea, sis.
I want to get published a traditional route, and I'm
Like, when
actually
you say
working.
traditional route, you mean like Penguin House, Random House, Haymarket, Hell House. I don't know what the name of these fucking book publisher companies are, but that's where you want to be at.
Yes, I'm shooting for like Penguin, Scholastic, something like that. I'm writing a YA novel, dystopia, and it centers two black girls, and I'm basically world building, like from scratch. I'm building a whole new civilization, and it's really, really hard, but it's also
What?
really, really fun. I really want this to be like this is like my pet project. I love editing. For the most part, I've worked with some really, really interesting writers on some really interesting projects. I really love my work as an audiobook producer as well. I get to turn people's books into ebooks, or not ebooks, but audiobooks, to be read, to be listened to. And that's always really fun. But writing is like my first love, my passion, my baby. And I think the reason why I have kind of been lax about it over the last several years is because I'm a perfectionist, and that
I would have
need,
never guessed that about you.
you would have never guessed.
No, I'm
That,
lying.
but no, but that need to be, like, it's like, it's got to be perfect or I don't want to do it at all is actually very debilitating. Like, you're not going to do anything in life if you're waiting for perfect circumstances and a perfect situation. You just gotta let go. I had to like let go of my stranglehold on this idea of perfect and realize that I cannot edit until I have actually written something.
That's so powerful. And I know I feel like the same thing with your podcast. It's like you out here creating and being like as carefree as you can be during these times. It has been like really admirable to me when I and you can check my receipts because I stay with a fucking receipt, bitch. Like I reached out to you in the very beginning stages of this podcast, and I was like, Emelyne, I just would really like for you to be a guest. And I was just so surprised about how humble you are, and how you're just like, yeah, I mean, I guess. Like it was just like
I don't know why you asked me, but like I'm happy to be here.
well, I would like to tell I'd like to tell the people why I asked you. In 2016, I wrote an article called Befriending Becky, and it was about the imperative of intersectionality amongst white women and how problematic they have been to women of color, especially on the precipice of the Women's March, which was largely exclusionary of any intersection of women that did
That was
not
such an ugly
include.
time.
You're like, what time was this? Was it? I was there.
That was such
Um,
an ugly, dark period. So
and so
dark
I,
for us.
I wrote the article because I thought about, and I even wrote about y'all. I didn't mention you by name, obviously, because I didn't have that permission. But I thought about how I came into, I wouldn't even say I came into organizing. I just was politicized. I had met y'all through the natural hair group. And,
I
people
remember
were like, oh,
that.
there's this other group that we're in and we're so cool. And we're like the Boston Tea Party on crack. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, I wanna know about that. And it was the Black Feminist Theory group. And I joined, and
Mm.
I realized very quickly I was out of my element. I had no idea what fucking theories and praxis y'all were talking about. I was like, Audrey, who? Like, I was 24 years old and I was like, Audrey Lord? Like, I was very naive and ignorant. And even though I was very vocal, as are most people who are half Hotep, I feel like that introduction into your group, well, the group that you were a moderator in, was very, it knocked me flat on my ass. If there was ever a hashtag called sit down Dee, it didn't, I don't care if it transpires in 2020. It started in 2011. And I just want to thank you. I've written posts about you before, but you were never tagged in it because you're not on the social media I'm on. I want to thank you. I want to thank Leandra. I want to thank Cami, Letitia Swanson. Like, I want to thank all y'all niggas because at the end of the day, and me being in 2011, I think it was, newly divorced, and I was like, I hate men, and that's why I'm in the group. But y'all not gonna sit here and tell me, disclaimer, I'm about to say something super triggering to anyone who's trans. I was like, y'all not about to tell me that trans women are women, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was so fucked up now that I think about it. But I needed that dragging to help me grow. And you were super mean to me, but it was appropriate and it was
Mhm.
necessary because you were advocating for folks who were most marginalized. And it's so
We had to
interesting
beat
that
the
you're,
turf out of you. I'm
what
sorry.
happened?
We had to beat the turf out of you. I'm
You
sorry.
did have to beat the turf out of me, but I'm glad you did. But you didn't do it in a way that you were like, and we're going to make this expose post about Didi Delgado, turf exclusionary. Like, I was just, I grew up in the church, and I was like, even though me as a queer person, I did not. I was like, no, that can't be the truth. It would have to make me question my own existence. And I think that that's why it's important to actually drag people and push the conversations. What I appreciated about y'all is that you didn't do it in a way that destroyed me. You did it in a way that broke me apart and said, no, you need to examine your shit. And so like I will always credit you. I will always credit Leandra. And I told Leandra the other day, I was like, I know sometimes we like get on each other's fucking nerves. And also, you have always been very consistent with me. You're talking about an 8-year relationship of knowing y'all. You know what I'm saying? Eight
Man,
years.
I
It's
can't.
I feel old. I'm the old bitch in the club. I don't know about you.
I mean, shout out to Leandra for creating the group because yeah, she and I were in like a natural hair group together, and we were like talking about hair is nice, but can we just have like a black feminist space with for like just us, no white women? And she really took the reins on that. I will always love her, and I will always love the women in that group. And I'm glad that you learned from us, but I learned so much from you guys in that group. I feel like my time on Facebook was best spent in Black feminist theory. A lot of people that I came to care about very, very deeply, I met in that group, and it really helped shape um, my political ideologies, the way that I view the world, the way that I view other women, the way that I view blackness. You know, I feel like we all got dragged in there at one point or another, but it was like being dragged by your sisters. It didn't feel I I never felt mean spirited to me. And I feel like those draggings helped me grow too. I think I was
Right.
dragged a couple times. Draggings help you grow if you're open to it. If you're open to it, it will help you grow. But no,
I feel
like
like you often came in like Glinda the Good Witch, like, in that scene in the Oz where she just floats down, like, and it's very soft landing. You were very soft spoken, and you were like, now, sis, you're being extremely problematic. And like, it was just so like, I hate that you love me so much that you would have this conversation.
yeah, okay, so I came into the group with the mindset of like so I was really like well known on Facebook when I was still on Facebook for blocking people. When I
It's
finally
me.
deactivated my Facebook, I had over 18,000 people blocked. Blocked.
So you're
Because
saying that I'm
I don't
lightweight
do
right now. I have
like
567 people blocked.
I don't do passive aggression. I'm not gonna vague post you. I'm not gonna take some shit that's going on in the group and then drag you on my personal page or drag you in another group. I'm gonna say what I have to say to you, and we can either have a conversation about it, whether or not you agree, or if I feel like we can have a conversation because you don't respect me or I can't respect you, then that's just a block, and that's what it's gotta be. I don't care what anyone says. Blocking is self care. Block them. If it looks like
Can
shade,
someone write that in the comments that blocking is self-care? Please attribute Emelyne Museaux. I might actually make that my cover photo. I might take Jocelyn saying, "What did you here for, ho?" off my cover photo and put Emelyne Museaux blocking is self-care. And I might add a bitch in my Kevin Hart voice. I mean, I don't know.
I didn't even interact with even 2% of these people I had blocked, by the way. Before people come for me and were like, maybe you're the problem, sis, if you had issues with 18,000 people. It wasn't even that. I would see people's waves from afar and block them. Like I would be on public posts where people were defending R. Kelly, and I would go through down the list and block everyone who liked that post or like the problematic comment. I was just like, I'm gonna preemptively block you before we ever have a chance to interact.
No, I appreciate you sharing that because I asked a question. I like to poll. Facebook took away polls, but I still like to poll. And I said, have you blocked? I asked Black women only, have you blocked another Black woman? And literally, this was in February, if I'm not mistaken. And literally, all the Black femmes came to my post and they're like, no, sis, we're all we got. Love and light, thoughts and prayers, booga, booga, booga. And then, like, 3 weeks pass and like everyone's blocking everyone. People are like, this person I hate. And so when you say you don't talk about these things, it is exhausting. I understand why y'all fucking left. I also think that people need to respect when people deactivate. It doesn't mean that you're running. It's just this shit is overwhelming. And no one can tell me that it's not, because even to people who pretend they have their shit together, their conversations largely run in circles around the people on the internet who are harming them, who are like, it's internet reindeer games, y'all. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I learned so many things from Facebook, various groups I was in, especially Black Feminist Theory, but I felt like the conversations were circular. We're having the same conversations in the same way with the same people getting offended or triggered or stuck in their ways or not wanting to grow. We were having the same groups of people or subsets or cliques of people who were infighting. It was a lot. And honestly, like, I miss a lot of people on Facebook, but like, I'm still on Messenger. Y'all can hit me up unless I have you blocked.
I hate it here. And it's so funny because whenever you remind me of so many other of my problematic faves, like, but you're not a problematic fave. You're just like, I'm all set. It's above me now. You log on like once a year and you're like, I have this project and I know I haven't talked to you bitches in a while. And literally you'll have 9,000 comments and everyone's like, come back, please, we need you. But they really don't mean it. You're laughing because they really don't mean it. They didn't need you. They've been living their lives breezy without you. You know what I'm saying? But they
No.
just want that content. They want that rawness that you provided.
Like I came back on Facebook in January, real quick. I like peeked my head in the door. I really came on to just grab my photos because there's a bunch of photos I uploaded to Facebook and I didn't have them on my phone anymore. And I was like, "Oh, I used to look cute back in the day. Let me get these photos." But it had been almost 2 years since I'd been on Facebook because I came on Facebook this January 2020, and I hadn't been on Facebook since May 2018. So I get on Facebook. I don't have anything to promote. I have nothing going on. I'm literally here to grab my photos, leave some likes, and go. And like everybody is living their best life. People have gotten engaged, gotten married, divorced their problematic partner. They've been fertile as fuck and had a bunch of kids, like beautiful children. So you guys have been living the good life. You don't need me. You're good.
No, we need you, and we need that Pinterest board ASAP, sis, ASAP. So the question.
I already added you as a collaborator.
Thank you. I love it here. I go to this school. Oh my goodness. Yes. The last question I have for you is a two-pronged question. I ask all of my guests this actually. And the first question is there anything that I didn't ask you that you were like surprised I didn't ask you, or you were like, oh shit, I have my own agenda for being here today. I want to pop off on this and I need to say this one last thing. And two, who would you like to see on this show? Because these videos will be transcribed to the actual podcast. Who would you like to see?
I don't have anything to plug. I mean, the podcast, the good, the bad, the basic. We're on SoundCloud. We're on all of the podcast platforms, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, you name it, we're on it. Hit us up there. Go to our Patreon if you feel so moved. But no, I don't have anything else to promote, honestly. Follow me on Twitter if you miss me, I guess. Hit me up on Messenger if I don't have you blocked. I'm on Facebook Messenger still. Who would I like to see on the show? I would really like to see Hari Zayed from Race Baiter, or formerly of Race Baiter, on this show. I think he gives a really unique perspective. His fiance Timothy is also really, really brilliant. He actually edited one of the articles that I wrote for them, and they're both great people. Get Leandra on here. Get Leandra
I've
Baker
been
on
trying to ask Leandra, and she been acting like I asked her to do something suspect. Like she was one of the first people. She was like, "Are you an op?" She didn't say it like that, but she
Girl,
was just like,
she's
"Well,
a Leo. She's a Leo. You know they be feeling themselves too much. Too much.
She was like, what will we talk about? I was like, nigga, whatever you want to talk about. She was like, I'll think about it. 2 months later, I thought about it. I know what I want to talk about. Nigga, can you give me a date? I mean, come on, I'm gonna tag Leandra too. So
Leos don't know how to make shit easy. Not a
no,
damn
she doesn't. I would say that about her.
I love Leandra. Get her on the show. Get Leandra. There's someone else. Creighton Lee. Get her on the show.
Okay, all right. I will give you.
She does so much amazing work raising funds for Black women and children.
Right.
Funds that actually, like with proof, with receipts, go to those people.
Right.
Chunking.
Right.
They go to those people, not in her pockets. And she doesn't have to. She's got her own life, but she does great work.
Thank you so much for offering that. I will give you a tidbit and a morsel. I did have Hari on the show, and Hari actually, no. I want you to listen to it. I will send you the link actually as soon as we end here. It was actually really one of the more emotional shows I think I've ever had, and in my 33 episodes, it's been one of the more emotional shows, and I really appreciate it. And also Hari had said Timothy, so I will be reaching out to their partner because that is something that I appreciate now you saying as well. So
one last person.
Of course.
Get Louis on the show. He has Louis. He has a page called Grand Veronis, and he is an HIV/AIDS activist.
Okay.
And like a pop music aficionado. He's like literally a wealth of information about everything 70s, 80s, 90s pop music. Get him on the show.
Okay.
Louis Fonseca of Grand Veronis. Get him.
Do you mind direct messaging me on Twitter this person's name so that way I can spell it right? Because I feel like you're very efficient. So I want to take off my video for a second and just tell people something you said to me, you were like, I really appreciate the name of your podcast. And I was like, it's so funny because it comes from one of my very good friends doing my nails once a month and just telling me all the things or allowing me to speak. And they just recently started selling these very snazzy press-on nails, and it comes with an entire kit, an instructional tutorial, all of these things. And she's a Black-owned business. So I would say that while they're waiting for phase 2 to reopen, please let me know, inbox me if you are interested in getting some press-on nails. This is Super Saiyan fucking super glue for nails. It's very interesting. I mean, who includes an orange stick in their fucking product packaging? And these are customized. You're not gonna get these on Beyonce's internet and bandwidth. So I
I'm
would
not ignoring you. I'm actually sending you Louis' name right now before I forget because I am
okay.
efficient.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
But we love a Black-owned business. I really should buy something from her. My nails have been looking a little bit
I'm
raggedy.
gonna send you the link because it really made me feel good.
Thank you.
So I really appreciated you sitting with me. I feel like I sat in the presence of greatness. I don't even know
You
who
were
I
a lie.
am.
You're a whole lie.
What I did. That's what I feel like. I have always admired you. Always. I will never not admire you. You are a Black woman who's about her shit, and like you are about healing. Like you were just like so multidimensional and multifaceted that it's amazing to me that you have time for yourself or time to be on the show or time to do a podcast of your own, because you are out here doing the things and paving the way. If niggas had a book called Trailblazers, you should be on page 3, bitch. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, so I hope you absorb that.
My heart is so warm right now. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
hope
Thank
you
you.
absorb that. And I
I
think that
mean,
that's what the premise of these conversations have been about, is like my own healing journey and like sitting with folks and like, where are we landing? What are we doing here? Really? Like, So thank you, Emma. I really appreciate you appearing today.
I mean, I've always loved interacting with you. You're always someone who I felt was like honest. I mean, so there can be a lot of hypocrites on social media, a lot of people that are kind of like, but you're always a real one, always a real one for me. I don't care what anybody says, and I don't care if they bring up receipts from 2011 when you were problematic. Let people grow. Let people change. No, but seriously, like, I've always loved interacting with you. You're always the real one. You always been good to me. I love all the girls in BFT. Get Leandra's ass on the show, please.
I will. I'm gonna inbox her
She's a
now and be like,
Leo, so
listen,
you're just
bitch, we
gonna
gotta
have what
move.
you're gonna have to do. Just now, you gotta do that on steroids for her, but you gotta do it before the show. You gotta get her feeling herself before she even gets here.
I'm like, your haircut is lit, right? You know that, right, nigga? Like, do you want me to send you a Grubhub gift card? Like, I mean, I gotta flex with finesse with Leandra. So you're absolutely right. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it.
Tell her how much you love tall women too.
Yes, I'm gonna be like, bitch, remember when you posted your swimsuit and I was like, at least you don't got a camel toe? I am in support of you.
Love it, love it. But it's been so good talking to you. Like, honestly, I've been looking forward to this all week. I'm like, I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna talk. It's gonna be so much fun. Like, Gap 2 solidarity.
Yes, that needs to be a hashtag. Gap 2 solidarity. You need to start that on Twitter immediately, please.
Oh my God, I really like, because I need more pictures for that private Pinterest board anyway. So I'm gonna be like, draw pictures of your diastema today.
I feel like not enough people like appreciate their diastema because of the things we've been taught about like imperfections, right? Like even like I told one of my partners, I was like, yo, your fucking dimples are lapses in your fucking facial muscles, my nigga. And they mad cute and I love it here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I used to think it was an imperfection when I was a kid, and then I got older, and I was like, I don't know if I want to close my gap now because I don't know what I would look like without it. Like, or I don't want to know what I would look like.
Did they offer you to bond it close?
That was never offered to me, but then the dentist were like, okay, you don't have like crowding or like other spacing issues, so we can get that thing closed in like 9 months, girl, 6 to 9 months.
They used to
And
say
like,
that
boom.
people with diastemas were actually relatable and responsible and dependable. So I never had no questions or no qualms about a hood bitch like me. So, and thank you so much for appearing on the show. I want to write you a sonnet. I might. I've been on my kick. Like, you know what I'm saying? So thank
I
you
didn't
so
know you
much.
were a poet, girl. Where have you been hiding the skills, girl?
Thank you so
I mean,
much.
can I get a haiku? Can I get a
Yeah, you can get a high Q.
soliloquy?
I got your 579 right now, my nigga. Right now. Right now while I'm hyphy.
But thank you for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you. I hope Team Issa isn't too pressed about the things that I
I'm super
said.
pressed, but we're gonna still love you.
I'm sorry. Not really, but you know.
I'm gonna listen.
But
I'm
thank
gonna
you for
have someone edit
having me.
this. I'm gonna have someone edit this because this conversation was so important. And this is like building, this project has been building, building, building. And I really need for people to hear what the fuck you've been saying. So thank you, Em. I appreciate you. And I hope you have an amazing evening. Come on, selectively social distancing by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you still believe in God, so go ahead and pray for me.
I mean, I believe
Just
in
put that
not a
feeler out
Christian
there.
God. I believe in Olodumare. I believe in the God of our ancestors. I don't believe in this whitewash shit. And I believe that at the end of the day that there's an expanse of the sky. And when I look up, that is who is holding the earth together is the atmosphere. That's what I believe. So I mean,
I like ancestor veneration. I just
I
don't attach it
you
to
then. I
God,
mean, I
but
feel like we
I
could
like
be.
it. Yeah. I like ancestor veneration. I don't feel like it's attached to God, but it's like obviously these people are still living on in our DNA. You know, it's
Yes.
just basic science.
Everybody on my show has been talking about the ancestral veneration, and I'm titillated. So thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. I subscribed while I was talking to you to your Apple podcast. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yay! Bye, bye
Bye, y'all.
everyone.
Good night.